Good morning, church. Welcome to worship at First Congregational Church in Fort Worth, Texas. We are a congregation of the United Church of Christ, and I'm so glad that you're here. You might notice that we have fewer online viewers today because we also are having in-person worship outside. So I'll be running out there to deliver the same welcome to our in-person folks. And we look forward to the day in, about 6 weeks or so, when we will return to our full hybrid form of worship, which means that in-person and live stream folks will be connected as one congregation. For now, this will do, and I'm glad that you've gathered today. So come, let everyone in all of our spaces, all of our sacred spaces, receive the love of God extended in and through this community. No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here.
You can play the game and you can act out the part, but you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Do as I say. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. What you gonna do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone? Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel always getting a piece. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. I know things are gonna be just fine if you only will. What I'd like to do to you, shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Yeah. Whoa. Shower the people you love with love. Yeah, show them the way that you feel. Yeah, they love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the you feel better right away. Don't take much to do, you just sell your pride. Shower the people you I say, baby, show them the way that you feel. They say in every life, people you love with love. They say the rain must fall, just like the pouring rain. People you
Hey buddies, I hope you had a fantastic first week of summer. I know it's been raining a ton and it's been really hard to go outside, but I hope that you were able to go play and feel some sun on your skin even for a little while. So this week I've been thinking a ton about what we learned in Adventure Village took us 12 weeks to get through the Beatitudes, and we talked about a crowd that gathered on the side of a mountain to hear Jesus speak. And every week we talked about the things that we would need to pack in order to be able to listen to what Jesus had to say. And we pretended like we were walking up that mountain to gather to hear Jesus. And the things that we packed in our bag sometimes were silly, and sometimes it was exactly what we needed. Like, we needed to have food in our bag, some snacks, and maybe lunch. And we talked about bringing a blanket or a chair so we could have something to sit on. Sometimes we were silly and we talked about things that we needed to trade, maybe so we could trade with somebody else when we got up the mountain. Sometimes we talked about bringing along our favorite pet, our kitty cats, to sit with us on the side of the mountain. But we talked about those things that we would need to sit, to listen to Jesus so that we could be comfortable and receive what Jesus had to say. And I've really been thinking, maybe we need to do that check-in again. Maybe we need to sit in a really quiet space and close our eyes and breathe and think about those things that our body needs right now so that we can hear and receive love and be in community together. So this week, I want you to take a few minutes every day at the beginning of your day and ask, what do I need to feel good for the rest of the day? Now, it might be that you need to bring your water bottle with you so that you can keep your body nice and hydrated for the rest of the day. Maybe it means that you have some extra snacks so that you can fill up your body with good food so that you have enough energy to get through your day. Maybe it means you need to have some music playing in the background where you are so that you can feel good all day, that you're hearing good, positive things. I'm not sure what it is, but I hope that you spend time with yourself, getting to know what you need so that you can be filled with love and goodness, and so that you can share that love with other people. Buddies, you are the best at doing this. You are the best at checking in with yourselves, and you are the best at fairness and equality and making sure that everyone in your community has exactly what they need. And I'm so proud that you are those kind of people. I really, really miss you, and I hope that you have the best Sunday, my friends. So proud of you, and I would love to have a prayer with you. Let's close our eyes and bow our heads, and I'm going to say a line and you repeat me, okay? Dear Jesus, thank you for your love. Help us to love others the way you love us. Amen. It is a joy and privilege to be in community with you, my friends, and I cannot wait to hear all the ways that you take care of yourself this week so that you can be the best buddy you can be. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Let's take a moment to center ourselves for prayer. Deep breath. O Holy One, God of beginnings and endings and points in between, you were there at the beginning of the cosmos, at the beginning of each of our lives, including this church, at the beginning of the pandemic, and especially here and now in this communal gathering today, both in person and online. This time of gathering serves as a transitional marker, marks a turning point out of the darkness, out of the chaos, out of the uncertainty, and into a better lit space, a space of vision and imagination. Our new birth is on the horizon. We can see it now. And in such we see you, God, in a new way. And we see each other in a new way. And we see you in each other. Our resilience has led us to this moment. So invite us, O God, into the other space of curiosity, compassion, and celebration. Let us rediscover our community and gain fresh hope for what lies ahead. You remind us to breathe in and out, to meditate, to listen as you call to us. You invite us to respond. Listen now, O God, O Holy One, O Divine Wonder, our love, and hear what is on our hearts today. We invite you to listen as we share our joys and concerns, aloud or in the solitude of silence. Oh God, we pray for those families who are still grieving through death. We pray for those families who are grieving illness and those still suffering from long COVID, those suffering from injury, both physically and emotionally. And God, I ask you to listen especially to those unspoken prayers, unanswered prayers. O Holy One, hear these prayers. Give us comfort, give us peace, calm that eternal restlessness within us, and guide us to the space of kindness. Amen.
Today is Sunday, June 6th. Who am I kidding? I'm recording this on Thursday, June 3rd, for you, our at-home congregation. The plan is to also worship outdoors on Sunday. If we don't get rained out, we'll see how that goes. For my sermon, I wasn't sure which way to go, anticipating our first in-person worship in a long, long time. I pulled up the gospel text from the lectionary and laughed out loud when I read it. The very first verse, and the crowd came together again. That's the first verse of the gospel text from Mark. Could it be more perfect? And the crowd came together again. I mean, true, the full passage from Mark goes on to tell a story of Jesus. He's in conflict with his family. They have good intentions. They want to protect him. They're concerned that he has seriously gone off the deep end and that he's going to be hurt. But when they try to intervene, Jesus pretty much says, "Thanks, but no thanks. You're not really my family anyway." Words which couldn't have been easy for them to hear. So that's an interesting story, definitely sermon worthy, but we're not going to get to it today because I just couldn't get past that first short verse. And the crowd came together again. Today, the crowd, the congregation, has come together again, hopefully if we didn't get rained out. Some of the crowd, that is, but not all of us. Some of us are worshiping at home today. In a way, it reminds me of when we had two services. If you've been around First Congo for a while, you might remember that. We had two very different services on Sunday mornings. At 9 o'clock, we worshiped in the social hall with Shady Hill Band. And then at 11, we were in the sanctuary with robes and organ music. Now, some of the 9 o'clock people didn't like the formality of sanctuary worship. Some of the 11 o'clock people didn't care for what they called the happy clappy music of 9 o'clock. Over time, we merged the two services to the delight of some and the dismay of others. But gradually, we became one congregation again. And when the pandemic hit, our one congregation moved pretty seamlessly online. There were technical challenges along the way, a learning curve, while we all figured out how to Zoom for meetings and small groups, and for worship, what to do when YouTube or Facebook kicked us off without warning, what to do when the volume was too low or too high, or when the mic was muted. I'm not hearing anything. What's wrong? For the most part, over the past year plus, even though we were physically apart, we figured out pretty well how to be together, how to stay connected. Now it appears that we are approaching a post-pandemic reality. The past few Sundays, there have been real, actual live bodies inside the sanctuary, in addition to the stream team, I mean. Some of the congregation will continue to worship at home. Some are worshiping in person. Post-pandemic life is coming, and all of us, whether we're choosing to worship in person or not, are figuring out what it looks like in our church and in our lives. I heard a story on NPR about a family gathering a few months ago to celebrate the mom's 60th birthday. Some had been vaccinated and some hadn't. Some of the family hadn't passed the 2 weeks mark after their second shot. So one of the daughters, who was an art teacher, showed up with a fan. It was decorated as celebratory as possible, she said, and she presented it to her mom as she approached the cake with 60 candles ablaze on top of it. Blowing out all of those candles, not a good idea with COVID. So they came up with a new way to sort of fan them out. And though it didn't work very well, honestly, she said it was a specific moment when they all realized, okay, this is going to be different than it was before. The CDC informs that fully vaccinated people can safely resume most activities indoors or outdoors without masks or distancing. Now, for unvaccinated people, further precautions still need to be taken, but we're moving in the right direction in a big way. And even though that's very exciting, I wonder if it's going to take some getting used to. We'll find out what post-COVID church looks like, and we'll prepare for it together. Maybe you heard the recent series on NPR to help folks in general navigate to a new normal. It was called How to Human Again. Listeners sent in their questions about the challenges they were facing post-COVID. So with that as our inspiration, we're going to do the same thing and call it How to Church Again. May I have a volunteer from the congregation to help? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mike Bass. Mike is going to ask me a few questions, and I will offer a response. Please note, these are not really Mike's questions. I wrote them. Welcome, anonymous congregant who happens to also be vaccinated, so we can stand so close without masks. Do you have some questions for me?
I do. I am fully vaccinated and feel confident that I won't get seriously ill with COVID, and I won't infect anyone else. Is it okay for me to hug people at church?
Well, Mike, that is a very good question, but we need some more information to answer it fully. I hear that you would like to hug people. What we don't know is, do those people want to hug you?
How do I know if people want to hug me?
To hug or not to hug can be a social minefield to navigate. Even before COVID, that was true. Some folks enjoy and appreciate hugs, and others don't. Now it's more complex because some are vaccinated and others not. Some want to be vaccinated and can't be yet. Some don't plan to get vaccinated at all. Some are already vaccinated, but they live with people who are at risk. Stay on the screen here. Yes. Others have just noticed that they haven't had a cold for a long time and it feels pretty good. They sort of like not sharing as many germs. It's probably easiest just to ask. It may be a bit awkward, but it's one way to make sure that a hug is welcomed by the other person. For me, I've decided not to hug anybody on Sunday mornings. I'm going to try that, even though I'm a big hugger and it feels kind of weird for me not to. It's just easier for me for now. Especially as pastor, I want to be consistent in my interactions. I'm sure that we'll all find our ways to interact. We'll all be working on a church culture that asks the other person, what is your comfort level? And then accepts each other's responses, honoring the other. It really is just an extension of the culture we've always pursued, listening deeply, trying to understand the wishes of the other person, and then honoring and respecting whatever those wishes are. We're all just going at our own pace. Some are going full throttle. Some are just trying to figure out how they're going to begin to function. So we'll err on the side of extending grace and ease. And remember, we've all experienced trauma in some way, shape, or form during the pandemic. We're going to have mixed emotions facing the new reality we're entering.
Some people have really missed hugs and human interactions. Others have enjoyed being more introverted and don't want to pick up the pace of social interactions they had before. If I'm one of the introverts, how do I say I don't want to do church, small groups, or worship in person when I can no longer use the pandemic as a reason?
I think this is a very important issue for churches to think about. Some of us say, let's get back to church. I miss my people. I miss hugs. I miss going out to lunch after worship. And some of us have, on the other hand, really enjoyed sitting on the couch on Sunday mornings in sweatpants with no makeup on, or Zooming for book club and cabinet meetings. Human connection is a part of being healthy, but we don't all have the same capacity for emotional energy. I guess it starts with just knowing what you need to be healthy, mentally, physically, spiritually, and then find a way that those needs can be met. I'll give you an example. I meditate with our Saturday morning group, Cultivating Mindfulness. It's a cornerstone of my personal spiritual practice, and it means a great deal to me. We used to meet at the church, and I loved it. But during the pandemic, we've, of course, moved to Zoom. Now, a lot of our group is so excited to meditate together in person again, but you know what? I personally like Zoom better. I can still connect with my fellow meditators and see them in person from time to time, but I'm good to continue meditating virtually. It just sort of fits my low Saturday morning energy better. So as we transition to in-person, some of us meditating in person will continue to have the Zoom option for people like me. And the same is true in church, which is why it's so important to continue to include in a meaningful way people who choose to stay virtual, some of the time or all of the time. I hear folks say, I'm so excited to go back to worship, we're going to go back. And it's very, very easy for the excitement of gathering in person to take on a life of its own, for the in-person folks to become real church, and the virtual folks might get left behind. So part of showing grace with each other as we transition is to embrace the reality that we're all different. Know what you need, and then practice helping the other person get what they need. Mr. Anonymous Stranger from among the congregation, you've asked some very insightful questions today. Thank you. I think we have time for one more.
Okay. All right. I've gotten good at Zooming and talking on the phone and emailing, but I'm kind of worried about small talk. After so much time without a lot of social interactions, could you lose the ability to smoothly converse with other people?
Human beings are genetically wired for connection, that's true. But some of us haven't been connecting as much over the past year, so we may be a little bit rusty. Outdoor worship today is going to be a lot of stimulus, for me at least, especially compared to what my Sunday mornings have been like for over a year. So maybe right after church, you will go home. Maybe you'll go out to lunch with folks and get a double dose of hardcore social time, those who come in person, that is. And all of that socialization may be exactly what you want and need, or it may just wear you out, maybe both. So just check in with yourself to consider how you feel. Today, we might be seeing people that we haven't seen in a long time. Just like in the fall when everybody goes back to school and you ask, how was your summer? We might be inclined to say, how was your pandemic? And while that may be the perfect conversation starter, if you're with a close friend and you have some time to share deeply, it may not be the best question for small talk after church. There's just no small answer to that kind of question. Among responses might be, I've been really depressed. I've lost people I love. I'm so angry with people who have flaunted precautions, and I'm afraid it's going to be hard to let go of that feeling. Who knows what your response might be? And yet, as we begin together, it seems fitting to acknowledge that we have been through something. Dr. Lucy McBride is a primary care physician. She suggests a strategy for easing back into conversations. She says, I'm the mother of 3 teenagers, so I've learned to try not to ask too many questions. Instead, she says, excuse me, as she's connecting with people again, she first tries to establish eye contact, which might be a big ask for some people. But first she does that, and then she offers a statement that feels genuine to her, like, I am really glad to see you again. I'm happy that you're here. Now, some of us want to continue a conversation of depth and really look forward to reconnecting with other church members. Some of us are new to this church and eager to get to know other people. So, we're planning an opportunity to reconnect on a deeper level, if that appeals to you. I will host a couple of gatherings, at least a couple, one outside under the trees and another on Zoom, to give us the chance to catch up with each other a bit, or if you're new, to get to know people. This is not a continuing group, but more of a one-time gig. The sole purpose is to just ease back into relationship, to deepen our connections with each other. So we'll send out an email in the next week with more information about this. Now, just a reminder of what upcoming worship will look like. Over the next few weeks, a limited number of folks are invited to come to the sanctuary for the live stream on Sunday mornings. You'll pre-register, so we have enough room for everyone. If you're on our mailing list, you'll get an email tomorrow with those details. Then during July, I will be away. I'll be taking my vacation. I didn't end up taking my vacation last year, not all of it, and it's very important for my own self-care to get away for some rest and renewal in July. And then in August, hopefully August 1st, which is a Sunday, we'll be up and running with hybrid worship, which means we will be together in person and at home, folks, united as one congregation in one worship service on Sunday mornings. We'll be reunited, and like Peaches and Herb, I think it will feel so good. Until then, I want to thank you again. Thank you for being here on the other side of the pandemic, being here in whatever ways have worked for you. Thank you for all of the ways that you've invested your energy and love and your resources in this spiritual community that means so much. I look forward to catching up with all of you, just processing what we've been through and having long talks about God or life or trees. I am so happy you're here. I'm really glad to see you again.
Come live in the light, shine with the joy and the love of the Lord. We are called to be light for the kingdom, to live in the freedom of the city of God. We are called to act with justice. We are called to love tenderly. We are called to serve one another, to walk humbly with God. Come, open your heart, show God's mercy to all those in fear. We are called to be hope for the hopeless, so all hatred and blindness will be no more. We are called to act with justice. We are called to love tenderly. We are called to serve one another, to walk humbly with God. Come sing a new song, sing of the great day when all will be one, love will reign, and we'll walk with each other as sisters and brothers, united in love. We are called to act with justice. We are called to love tenderly. We are called to serve one another, to walk humbly with God.
Thank you for joining for worship today. Next week, remember, we will have a limited number of participants in the sanctuary to worship as we watch the live stream be produced. You'll get an email tomorrow with instructions for how to pre-register for that. So I encourage you to come. It's going to be wonderful to begin to see more and more people in our building. I hope this week you're able to find a way to peace, happiness, joy, and calm in the sense of whatever struggles you may face. In the name of our God, who is our Creator and our Redeemer and our Sustainer. Go blessed, friends.